Works out, I guess. Can't pick, hardly wait. I can't wait. Hardly wait. I can't wait. Picard died.
All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Can't Picardly Wait. You've heard the excerpt from that badass theme song that you might not hear again.
Oh, thank God.
Yeah. And we are at the end of everything. Star Trek Picard Season 1 is over. My name is Wade Bowen, you know that. And I've got Sean Parada.
Hey, what up?
And Glenn Hall.
Hello.
But also, it's the final episode of this season, so we've brought more guests on this time. We don't have Kristen from Montreal this week. We have my brother. Whoa. Oh, if you listen to Let's Go Home, you may have heard him on the last season of that. But we have Lane Bowen over here.
Yeah, that's the guy who sounds like Wade, but maybe more bitchy. I'm not sure.
Right. And no, I will not be making any dumbass Soji twin references.
I was going to say.
Fuck no.
You can fuck right off.
We got twins on here. I mean, Jesus, how apt.
Yeah. Right. But nope. The only reference I'll say will be like, fuck you. No.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. But
That checks out.
Yeah.
And you may or may not have Courtney Bowen. Wait, she's not here. May or may not show up. But
yes.
the other part of me bitching about stuff that you may remember from Discovery.
Right. So if you hear a lady drop in, don't quit listening to the pod. What's wrong with you? We have Courtney Bowen over there. Yeah. So we have in Arcadia Ego Part 2 that just happened, and yep. So the show is over, and it ended. How did it end? Well, I have my opinions. What do y'all think?
I think that they should make an HD remaster of the Mass Effect games for current generation consoles. Just totally unrelated
Yeah.
to Picard, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
Just fix that ending in 3, then we're good.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah, I guess we could get started before, like, Lane has been catching up on the whole series, and before we get into this episode, I guess we could just have your thoughts on this episode, get some of that classic bitching that you just said you were going to do out of the way up top.
Yeah. So I haven't caught up on listening to you guys, but I'm assuming you caught the Mass Effect references.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean...
it came up.
Yes, right?
Because Glenn just really loves it, and he talks about it every chance he gets.
No, yeah, every single episode.
Yeah, Glenn just talks about... We're trying to figure out why he talks about Mass Effect so much.
It's a tick.
I know. It's only one of the most popular video game franchises of the last 10, 20 years, and yet
for sure.
nobody on the writing staff played those fucking games? What the fuck? God damn.
It is crazy how much it goes, even beyond, like, homage to just, like, plot mapping.
Yeah.
No, I mean, there's even space robo squids.
Yeah.
I mean,
Right,
it's space squids, tentacles. We see space robo tentacles. That's like, come on.
Yeah, that was some hentai style tentacles right there.
That's straight up Mass Effect. I mean,
Yeah, it's
wild.
It was something like generously you could say that they were paying homage to Lovecraft with the tentacles.
Yeah, it's like, come on. You can't do eldritch things from another outside this dimension without doing tentacles, but they're robots this time. It's like,
and not just they're robots from beyond that have been around for maybe millions, billions of years that show up on cycles to destroy all sentient life. That's straight up Mass Effect.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm certain you covered that, right? I don't know.
Oh, absolutely.
To be fair, my complaint I don't want to just reference Discovery too much, but that was my complaint during Discovery. It was like, hey, somebody played Mass Effect and realized Mass Effect was kind of like a Star Trek homage, and then somebody decided, hey, I got a job writing for Star Trek, and decided I played Mass Effect. Let's just do a Mass Effect homage. And then on this one, they go a little toned down with the Mass Effect stylings, although they still have the hologram controls, which is very Mass Effect, whatever.
Yeah.
But maybe less so.
That's just everything nowadays. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I get past that. So at least the stylized tone was toned down. It wasn't Mass Effect. But this time, they still the exact same plot, where Discovery's still the art style of Mass Effect. This is like, no. We're not going to take the art style. We're just going to take the fucking plot.
Yeah.
Which is really my big picture. My only real problem with Picard, since I've not, I'm on the last episodes here. I've liked it. I've enjoyed it. It's been, I like going back. But all my complaints really, at least my complaints, Courtney, my wife, is different. But my complaints are basically just because the meta plot is just Mass Effect from the beginning. I'm like, if you just take that out, well, and also, there's more. But that's the big complaint.
Right.
But mostly I like the show, other than that.
I think that's about like where we've landed for the most part too.
I think so,
Is
too.
that like this is good aside from its glaring issues with plotting and it's like smaller issues with some character stuff.
Yeah.
But for the most part, I mean, I don't know, it's good.
Yeah.
That finished and I was like, okay, Star Trek. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, if anything, it's maybe a return to Star Trek being Star Trek-ish. It's just, let's do without the Mass Effect.
See, I don't. So this episode specifically, because I think this was a co-story and directed by Akiva Goldsman. My favorite guy.
Oh, yes.
Sure.
This felt more like not a return to Star Trek, but let's do Star Wars again.
Well, this first half did. The ending felt like a return to TNG Star Trek-ish a little bit. But the first half of it was just like, let's wrap up this plot.
Yeah.
Because the ending felt like now we got our Guardians of the Galaxy together and we can have a new plot soon.
Right.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, my main complaint is that it felt very rushed. The whole season felt like it was building to something with a bit more weight to it, like with the conspiracy behind Mars, which, by the way, I don't think they did. Did they ever explicitly say what happened, or are we just supposed to assume that the Romulans...
They just said, and the Romulans were behind it.
Yeah.
That's all.
They basically...
They said after they saw the foopy-doop kill yourself vision, she was like, good, you're with me, and we'll start on Mars.
Oh, did she say we'll start on Mars?
She did, yeah, that was in that scene.
Oh, I missed that.
That's I think now that I'm at the end of it, that's my biggest problem with the show. There's no development in the characters or the plot. They just tell you there's reveals,
Right.
but nothing develops organically, really.
Well, I would argue that this is the only episode where anything happened.
Well, if anything, goes back to how it's almost this. It seems like it's setting up the potential to do Star Trek in later seasons.
Yeah.
On some of it's like this is the first one that they've talked a big game about having these kind of philosophical concepts about what's it mean to be human and all this data. Synthetics versus organics, which is all they've toyed with the idea of doing retreads of all the synthetic what does it mean to be a human shit that they already covered in Next Generation. They toyed with it and then didn't actually do it, just referenced it, which is all you need to do in TV writing on sci-fi shows these days, I guess. They referenced the concepts of doing philosophical discussions and didn't do them, and then they set up the future philosophical discussions, which they probably won't do.
Right, yeah, I don't trust that they're going to follow through on any of that. I think they're just going to have another swashbuckling space adventure.
Yep, that's what it's going to be. But
Right. Yeah, because the music in this episode was all very orchestral, dramatic Star Wars kind of almost music.
Well, yeah, they clearly wanted to get a little bit of that Rise of Skywalker energy. Barf.
Well, there was a lot of why would you want to do that?
I still haven't watched it. I'm so glad.
me neither.
But Commodore O, when I was watching it, I was getting definite Rise of Skywalker in that she's basically a Palpatine.
Right.
That just hey, they reference it, she shows up and she's going to destroy a planet.
Right.
And there's no explanation of how she gets from being Starfleet intelligence head.
Well, yeah, I was like, she's very, very professional oriented. She's the head of security, and immediately she's a general as well. So
right.
she's just she's a very professional woman. I don't know what you're talking about.
And they just let her Go?
Yeah, that was wild.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. All the characters, there's no development of her character.
No.
You have the one scene with the Admiral, sheer fucking hubris.
Right.
Then she has this scene with not Raffi. Everybody's got dumb names.
Well, have you referenced the fact that how racist kind of O seems? Like, what do we name her? I don't know. We got an Asian actress. What's her last name? Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Right,
that's,
yeah.
It's like,
That's a wild choice.
it's like, well, she's a Romulan. She's a space alien. What do we name aliens? I don't know. Something alien sounding, exotic sounding. I don't know. What do we name it? Who we got to? Got the feeling they got the actress before they named the alien, and then I was like, I don't know. Oh,
Yeah.
maybe, yeah.
sure. It's like, oh,
And there's no reveal of character scenes with her where like you learn that she's half Romulan. They say it in a bit of dialogue. Oh, by the way, she's a half Romulan, half Vulcan.
Yeah.
And she's the mastermind behind everything. You don't see her being a mastermind of anything. They just tell you it's like, oh, it's just like how Palpatine shows up. Oh, and Palpatine was the mastermind the whole time, by the way.
Right.
You know, checks crawl at the beginning, exposition, like, oh yeah, and by the way, she's behind it all. And then at the end,
thanks for ruining Star Wars for me. I still haven't seen it, man.
well,
That's my bad.
look,
You're good, man. You're good.
Honestly, you'll enjoy
I'm so mad.
trust me, I'm not the one ruining Star Wars for you.
Yeah, Wade and I saw Rise of Skywalker opening night, and trust us when we say it's better if we ruin it for you.
No, I was like, I'll watch it when it gets out on,
Right.
Disney Plus or some shit.
Right.
But the same way that she was an empty kind of black hat that they just stuff going there, like, which is Star Trek is not supposed to be the game they play, you know. They're supposed to be all nuanced. We understand where this person's coming from, but it's like, and whatever.
Well, the admirals are always evil, so she's the admiral now. Now the heads of...
She's a super admiral. She's a commodore, so she's extra evil.
Now Commodores are always evil. This is new Star Trek. Commodores are evil. Admirals are just like, they just cuss.
Right.
Because Picard's an admiral now. He's not evil, so now it's Commodores.
Right.
Yet.
But like all the characters, it's the same kind of thing. They don't really develop. They just have like reveals, or like, oh, by the way, Girardi and Rios are fucking. That happened.
Well, yeah. Oh,
Well, Girardi and Rios are, I mean,
They seem to be
seemingly like romantically entangled now, which again, just like,
well, to be fair, that's a very long line of Star Trek being terrible at romances.
It's true.
okay.
To be fair, they threw one scene in that was very awkward and bad Star Trek. Like, this was not earned at all, and that's enough to earn it. Apparently, this for the one like shoulder rubber.
Right. The one.
Right, well, them sad fucking, like, yeah, like, I'm in on that. That makes sense to me. That's where they are.
They're both such sad, broken people that they take solace in that. You know, I'm with you, Sean. I was like, that's fine.
Yeah.
But like them being, now they're going to be in a nice, not fucked up, functional relationship.
Right. That's not
That's
earned.
not earned.
That I don't.
Well, you want to talk about unearned relationships?
Oh, boy.
7 of 9 and
Let's do it.
Come on,
Yeah, what the fuck?
like.
That again, Rise of Skywalker is like the token lesbian couple that not earned. Just, oh, by the end, we got to.
you
Right.
blink and you miss it.
Well, it's like, come on, you're blowing your load for second season. Like, clearly that's going to be a thing second season. Do it then. You're rushing it,
Right,
man.
let's watch it develop in the second season, not go into it and be like, oh, yeah, this is a thing now, I guess.
You've got time, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Slow that shit down. Like, at least give them one scene together where they, like, make out or make eyes or something.
Yeah, there's no flirting. They barely talk to each other. It's the same. I mean, that was the thing. I was like, Raffi. This is my thing. It's a character that seems to be a nuanced. The actor has ideas about it. The writing staff probably has ideas because they keep referencing. They're like, oh well, she's got this.
Yeah.
She's got a backstory that explains all her motivations and everything. She's got this kid she's fucked up about. But like the problem with the show is, even if the characters are nuanced and have a backstory that makes sense, there's no development of character at all.
No, they
And that's the biggest problem with Raffi, especially because they say, well, she's fucked up. They just tell you facts, drop them in there.
Right.
But nothing she does, there's no actions or anything that happens in the script to where they develop along the script. They just drop bits, reveals about them.
No, she starts off a good character. Like I was like when she showed up, her and Picard had a history that worked because we hadn't seen him for 20 years, and they got the rapport that worked for me.
Mm-hmm.
But it really the turnaround in her was when they introduced her kid. After that, she was just kind of like she's just everybody's mom, but she wasn't everybody's mom until her kid showed up.
Right.
Before that, she was just the alcoholic with the backstory with Picard, which worked. She was a little gruff, and she drank and smoked too much, and that was a beginning of a character that if you just stuck with that for the season and a half, or the rest of this, you might get somewhere. But as soon as her kid's introduced, she's everybody's mom's like, come here baby, cry on me all the time, like
right. They just drop in these character details, like she's everybody's mom, she's a QAnon truther, that they just say, oh, I believe this now, and she's like, oh, the Council of Dave, that's the thing. It's like, but there's no her explaining what that is to anybody.
Right.
There's nobody reacting. They're like, oh my god, you're crazy. They're like, come on.
Yes.
There's no development that happens on screen, which is
right.
With her, you have to either like introduce the kid and then follow it through.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you have to watch her like go on this journey and like have being right about everything not being the most important thing to her or whatever, or just not introduce the fucking kid.
Yeah, leave the kid out.
Like what? Why are we throwing everything at the wall?
Well, it's like as soon as the kid shows up, she's like, it's like, oh, let's give the black actress, make her everybody's space mom. Like, oh, that's not problematic.
Right.
Come on,
it's not great. Yeah,
she was plenty cool before that. Now she's just everybody's space mama. It's like, geez, hey.
Yeah. Let her just, like, be fucked up because she's a fucking conspiracy theorist. Like, just, that's enough! That's all we need! We don't need this fucking kid!
Yep.
and
It's frustrating.
Yep. And then everybody watched this, so they know the details of the plot.
Yeah, they win! Hooray!
The other thing about every character in this is, like, everybody is so fucking sad.
Yes.
Like, Girardi's just been suicidal most of the time. Did you notice, like, when Seven shows up at the beginning of this episode, she's just like, I should just fucking kill myself. That's a line she has. It's like, what the fuck? Come on.
Yep.
And then later, Rizzo is like, you should have just shot yourself in the face. And he's like, yeah. It's like, okay. Oh, God. But, Jesus, what are you doing here, Star Trek? Just like...
What is, like, how are Seven and Eleanor like just joining them at the end? They did a whole thing the episode before this where like you have your own path,
right.
You guys have to go protect the Borg and do hubba-doo and dee-ba-da and baba-doo, and then at the end it's just like we're all on an adventure together.
Right. Well, that's where this episode felt like the contrived direction and writing of one Akiva Goldsman.
Right.
Because all the events were just big action events.
Yeah.
There, it was like, all right, this is how you write a shitty Batman movie. I don't know.
Oh,
Well, to be fair, everything sucked, but I did like the Data scene with him and having rewatched some old Data episodes. Basically, it almost justifies most of it's really bad, like a lot of the stuff. But if the whole season, the entire purpose of the season is just to redo a death for Data because Nemesis sucked. If you look at it like that, that's everything else. Nothing else matters. It's all just a very complicated way to get to hey. Here's this one good character with some good stuff to work with a beloved plot line that ends badly. It's one long, very convoluted, bad trash of tired concepts to say, hey, now Data gets a decent ending. And so I like that final scene just fine.
I will, before Glenn discusses, because you haven't watched all the fucking show yet, Glenn, sorry.
Yeah, Glenn, you dick.
But I will say... I actually did like that Data scene too, as a addendum for Data for this show. It was like I was watching it with the person I was watching it with, and she was like, "What the fuck is going on here?" Because she never watched TNG.
I liked it.
I did too.
And the only Star Trek I've seen is this and Discovery.
So I actually did I did think the death just like, oh, finally, because Data's death and Nemesis was so lame.
I thought it worked.
This is like, okay, we're doing this convoluted plot. Now let's just make Michael Chabon, let him get some free reign instead of like Akiva do it, maybe. I don't know. And then because I'm assuming he wrote that scene. And then okay, let's just do this shit going on. And you got some meta plot now. To be fair, well, we haven't really touched on now. Picard doesn't have a brain thing, so we just can do whatever the fuck we want with him.
Right.
But you also made him a robot that...
They made him an aging robot that has, like, gallbladder problems.
Right.
Yeah.
We didn't fix any of your other problems, just the brain thing.
Right, that they have to say, like, you will live exactly as long as you would have lived before. You don't have superpowers. You don't have the brain thing, and that's all we changed.
But you know what? 94-year-olds die of brain things all the fucking time. So really, did you do anything extra for him?
Right.
Yeah, you did.
It would be a real shame if they solve his brain thing and he just has a regular garden variety stroke.
Right, exactly.
Because who's to say that's not what
Or
happened?
he's going to die of coronavirus next year. And, sorry.
I wish he walked out of that pod and got hit by a truck.
I mean, it's, again, that is, like, the kind of contrivance where it's like, okay, I get why, because they don't want to, like, de-age Patrick Stewart or, pay for Tom Hardy to play him in the next season. But it just... I don't know. The last 15 minutes of this episode, there was a lot of good stuff. I do think the day-to-death scene itself was well done, and it was moving, and it was very well done.
Right.
I think the reasoning behind it was very flimsy, and it was the concept was executed poorly. So, in a larger perspective,
the whole idea that we have one neuron that we can create him from is just a dumb idea from the get-go.
Well, sure, and then on top.
The whole episode is based on dumb ideas. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
No,
Sci-fi is dumb. It's all dumb at some point.
I was just going to say, so, like, from our perspective, the season's been all about, like, Data's legacy and what is becoming of Data's legacy and his progeny. And at the end, it's revealed that Data's been alive in some fashion this entire time. And then immediately is like, oh, by the way, I want to die. And that is, a bit of a rip-off of the Good Place finale, though I guess it's probably coincidental here, given the timing.
It is a shame that, like, you've been hiding Data in a jar this whole time and you don't get to see him until you kill him at the end.
Yeah.
Right, and so I think it might have made more sense. I mean, at the very least, I feel like they should have revealed Data being alive at the beginning of these 2 episodes and have him be some sort of influence on events. Like, maybe he talks to Soji, or maybe he just talks Picard through it. But I just think having him be, honestly, it reminds me a lot of the Dumbledore scene at the end of Deathly Hallows. I won't say any more, just in case anyone cares about spoilers. But like,
Dumbledore dies?
No, fuck you. You can spoil Star. It's been long enough for Harry Potter.
All right, fine.
Let me just say, so having just recently rewatched the episode where the original Dr. Soon dies,
Yep.
there is some parallel, and let me maybe introduce somebody who made me watch that episode.
Oh.
If you don't mind her showing up.
Not at all.
I just jumped in and started listening.
Somebody just jumped in and listened to the last little bit, not all of it.
That's fine. You're better off.
Yeah.
Hey, Courtney, how's it going?
Hey, it's
And
all right.
I told you she might show up.
I did. Okay, so after watching a couple of episodes of Picard, I started feeling nostalgic for the Next Generation.
Sure.
So I've been rewatching Next Generation, and we just watched the episode where Data goes to meet. Well, he goes to this planet and meets Dr. Soong, and then Lore shows up. Data's brother, Lore, shows up.
I did my theory that Alton was Lore was disproven this episode, which is a bummer. But
Nerd corner.
Much better than what they actually did. Sorry.
Yeah, but anyway, so Lore kills Dr. Soong, and then as he's dying, Data's there with them, and they had this whole conversation about mortality, and Dr. Soong makes this comment that everything dies, and that's just part of living, it's part of life, it's part of being human. So I think in some ways, this episode of Picard might be a throwback to that, because Data is now saying, oh, I want to die because, that's like my creator, my father, or whatever, has told me that's what makes somebody human. That's what makes life worth living, is that, there's this finite amount of time. And that's kind of the existential, bit about just, being alive. So It makes Data more human to die, if that makes sense.
So some justification for that scene.
And plus, okay, I also think this might be like the most Star Trek-y bit of the episode.
Oh, yeah.
It's just like a long conversation between Data and Picard that's very philosophical and,
Right.
just like, okay, well, what is it to be alive? What is death? What is mortality? And they just have this kind of cool conversation,
Right,
without much action happening. And
that's what the whole show should have been.
It's what I wish all of Picard was. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just like him hanging out in his vineyard and old friends coming to visit.
yeah, I would be totally cool with that.
That's what I've said over and over again. Just sitting by the fire, drinking wine,
Yeah.
chatting. Maybe they've been on adventures, but Picard, he's been at the vineyard the whole time.
Yeah, that's it. Maybe they solve some low-stakes mysteries.
Right.
Yeah, that's what Michael Chabon wanted. Now just do that for season 2, but he's a robot now.
Yeah, except
Right. He can be a robot. That's fine at all.
Yeah,
He's a
robots
robot
can-
that has to get up to pee 4 times a night.
but Michael Chabon's not doing season 2 though.
Oh, really?
Shit. Okay, it's gonna suck. It's gonna suck.
Because he's moving on to do a show version of Cavalier and Clay, I believe.
Oh.
Him and his wife are show running that because they struck a deal.
I don't see.
Now they've got like a Sci-Fi Channel director that did the 12 Monkeys series or something.
Ew. I tried to watch that. I got bored.
Yeah, I kind of wish he would wrap Picard up first and then.
I was like, I mixed blessings there. Oh, okay. Kind of sad, but maybe hopeful.
I'm fine. Yeah, like it's just
Well,
if they did like low budget Sci-Fi Channel Star Trek, I mean, like that's maybe how you should do Star Trek. I don't know.
Actually, yeah, that's one of the things I'm sort of enjoying about Next Generation
Yeah.
is, it's not as flashy and actually the actors have to do a lot more heavy lifting.
They're not always up for it, but
they're not always up for it.
Right.
But, like one of the episodes I was watching of Next Generation was when Sarek comes on board the Enterprise and he's got this degenerative disease and he's losing his mind, but he's got to do these big negotiations. And so he and Picard do this mind meld so that he can get the stability of Picard's mind for the negotiations. But meanwhile, Picard takes on the instability of Sarek. And the mind meld, like, I'm so used now after watching all these episodes of the Picard show, when there's a mind meld, you just get all these jump quickie.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you get.
my meld.
Yeah. Where in the Next Generation, they do the mind meld and Patrick Stewart's eyes just get really big. And
Right.
I mean, it's like this completely different low budget sort of.
Well, but it has to be different because now we know you can teach yourself.
Well, it's like y'all touched on the weirdness of a robot doing a mind
Yes,
meld, right?
we did. Yes.
I assume
Yeah,
y'all
we
did.
sure fucking did.
We yelled.
I hated
'Cause
that.
what the fuck is up with that? It's just
Yeah. So now androids are telepathic.
and I even came up with a headcanon explanation for how she did it.
Yeah. But no.
Amazo.
but that was last
I don't
episode.
want-
Okay.
Yeah.
No.
No,
But
I'm
we're
just-
still bitter about
yeah,
it.
I'm not just thinking all this shit that we missed that I haven't heard you guys go over yet that I want to talk about. Never mind.
Right. Yeah. Let's get back to this episode. Rizzo. I get their names because they're both dumb lady names that start with R.
Rizzo the Romulan, Raffi the non-Romulan.
Yeah, that's helpful.
right.
Yeah, very.
That's fucking nothing. That's not anything.
She was just hanging out in the cube the whole time, and her brother just moseys up and says, "Oh, hey, what's up, sis?"
Yeah, that was wild. They got so lazy just trying to like fit in everything that needed
It's
to happen.
easy to get lost in the cube, like Elnor last
It's a
time,
big
couple
cube.
seasons ago. Like got lost and Hugh died. Just it's
Oh, is
really
that what
easy
happened?
to get lost in there. Y'all touch on that?
Well, we questioned what the hell he was doing, but
That's my favorite moment. My headcanon moment. It's still my favorite the entire season. Is just Eleanor's like, "Hold on, guys. At the end of one episode, I gotta go take a shit." And then like at the end of it, he's like, "Hey, sorry, I had to take a shit. What'd I miss?" And Hugh's dead. Like, oh man.
they have the ocarina of time that you can fix the ship with.
Oh,
Yeah, they sure
Oh,
do.
yeah.
that fucking thing. Like, well, that's not a huge thing. But my question is, Rizzo thrown into the bottomless pit in the Borg cube, presumably to her death. But they established that
Except
what's that?
she's not dead because there's no body. Of course,
She's not dead.
Oh, she's gonna be a Borg in the next season. We know that, right? She's coming back as a Borg, right?
Well, I was going to
coming
say
back, for sure.
she has that auto teleportation thing.
We don't know what she had because we thought she teleported out, but she was in the cube the
Yeah,
whole time.
Glenn, she's not dead.
Yeah. She's clearly not dead.
All right, long as we all agree.
Right. That's what, I mean, you've seen an action movie, right?
Right.
Yeah.
If they don't die on screen, they don't die.
Yes.
Best case scenario, she comes back as a Borg. She died in a Borg cube, but no, she teleported away.
She's just gonna say,
yeah.
"Hey, what's up?"
Right,
Yeah,
she'll just be
I don't
back.
know.
Hey, can I fuck you, brother? Because we're gonna see him again too, right?
Sure.
Oh, he's gonna.
That's the one I want them to kill him.
What happened to him?
Good. Oh, I was just talking about how much I hate her brother. Like,
Narek.
there's a moment where like Eleanor was gonna like chop his head off,
Oh,
and I
man.
was like, "Do it,
Oh,
just
God,
do
I
it,
wish.
please."
How awesome!
Yeah.
I mean, if that had been a scene where he puts when he shows up and he puts his head up, his knife up to his
Yeah.
throat. If at that point he'd be like, when he tries to talk him out, and he's like, fuck it, and he chops his head off. This would be the greatest show fucking ever. That would have been the best build up and sell everything would be forgiven if they just be like, fuck it, and chopped his head off right then. Nobody was expected it, and it would have been a fucking amazing.
Yeah,
It would have
agreed.
been- everything would be worth it.
Yes.
All forgiven.
All forgiven.
But they didn't do that.
But then we're still stuck with Eleanor, so
He's such a whiny little piss baby.
yeah. We learned that he's not even a Jat Vash. He's a failed and there's another bit of
Yeah,
like
where did that come from?
they're just like, oh, by the way, here's another character detail. No development. Just like, oh, by the way, we're just going to tell you another thing about this character. He's a fuck up that failed out of Zat Vash school, and his sister let him just come in as a favor or something.
Right.
But why? But they were all. But everyone else we see in the Jat Vash is women.
Right.
So like, there's
Maybe
no.
that's why he flunked out.
I guess there's no explanation for why he is.
I mean-
like, wouldn't that be the thing that he's like not allowed?
They could
to
even-
be in
Just like Elnor, he's not a
because he's a man. So that's why he has like an inferiority complex.
Right. There's a whole thing you could do if you were actually exploring character. You could make him a foil to Eleanor.
Right.
Grew up with the battle nuns.
I
and
was thinking
like,
about
oh,
that too. Like, there's a lot of
Right, but never truly accepted by them.
They missed a great opportunity for a "we're not so different, you and I" line to drop.
Right.
I'm just a fuck up. I really was just here to fuck robots. Even his sister references that. It's like, hey, did you fuck any of them?
And he goes,
It's like,
not yet.
not yet.
Well,
It's like,
she's mad because he wasn't fucking her.
and he's like, shit. Am I actually just a fuck up with a robot fetish? That was the reveal. I was here the whole time for that.
No wonder he cries all the time.
I did fucked none, killed one. That was
Yeah.
funny.
And yeah, I don't want to see any more fucking watery tears in his eyes.
No,
you know?
Jesus.
Right.
God,
all the
Somebody, it's
fucking
like,
time.
stop stepping on that guy's puppy or whatever you're doing. Just fucking get over it, man.
Yeah, we had Captain Riker show up and the Zhang He, not the Enterprise.
Is that fun for Star Trek fans?
Yeah.
I guess.
love
I mean, it's fun seeing Riker.
I thought Riker was great.
Yeah, it was a shame that they had to just copy and paste the same ship over and over again.
Right. Yeah, that I thought it.
Yeah.
Turns out they had to do that because they did the effects for that scene like a week ago.
Really?
Oh, interesting.
So did they write that scene where they just like, let's just copy the ship a million times, like at the same time? Like,
Oh,
it's like their budget is writing their script for them. We can't do this. Like, hey, they can't either, man.
Right. No, I mean apparently the his reference about like we've got a whole lot of these ships was ADR'd because they're like, how do we explain that they're all the same damn ship?
That's so funny.
Yeah, it's always nice to see Riker, of course, but
But it's fine to have him show up, and he'd be like, but then Starfleet's like, all right, well, we're cool here. Okay, we're just gonna fuck off now.
Right? They just left.
and so do the Romulans.
yeah.
It's,
Like Picard's dying. Like he's like, okay, see ya.
You're okay. You're and they're like, whoa, I'm having a brain aneurysm. Yeah, I'll see you later, man.
Right. We're having, how much per second we're paying to have all these ships on the screen?
Okay.
That's like in 22 Jump Street where they're told that they can't go over their budget.
Yeah, but he gets to say, get your treacherous Tal Shiar ass out of here.
It was fun seeing Riker.
Again, they just let her. How long has she worked at Starfleet?
Yeah.
How many secrets does she have? How much access? And they're like, okay, bye bye. We'll see you on the next
We're gonna
adventure.
take all our head of security secrets and fuck
She's
off
like the head of security. They're just like, okay, whatever.
back to the Tal Shiar. There you go. Yeah, like,
Right.
We'll change our password. It'll be fine.
Yeah, there you go.
Right.
Put on two-factor authentication.
Right. Yeah. They had that exclamation point at the end, and now we're good to go.
Well, it's the same way that Girardi was going to go to jail for murdering a person. They're like,
Right, and now they're just like, everything's fine.
Yeah.
to be fair, Star Trek does have a long history. We talked about it in the ROA of the somewhere in the legal, they have to have a "I was possessed" clause.
Right.
But this isn't even that.
Hey, yeah.
This isn't just like I guess she could say maybe I was driven crazy by the admonition is her get out of jail. But she was going to jail for murdering a person. And they're like, never mind, you're part of the crew now.
That's fine.
Yeah. Well, murder and, I don't know, treason and, 20 years of espionage. Come on, man.
Right?
Bruce Maddox got done dirty.
He did,
He really did.
They said his name so many times in the early going that I committed to fucking remembering it for you assholes. And then we meet him in that episode. He's dead. I'm like, who gives a what the fuck?
And it's not even the same actor from TNG.
Yeah, it's all because that's the only way that some of the producers of this show know how to. That's their character development. Is like
right.
If you kill somebody, you're creating an emotional attachment for these characters that are alive. I really believe that is
all they can do is fridge.
That is the math of how they figure out breaking these stories in the room, because they do that.
Who can we kill now?
They did that with Seven twice.
Yep.
They did it with Hugh.
It's not good storytelling.
Yeah, there was.
But you know what?
You're not creating organic stakes. You're introducing pieces simply to remove them. It's all fucking concocted.
And
I think they could have done some cool stuff with Hugh. So yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
Right? They're I mean, it's like all the potential they just snuff out real quick with Data. It makes sense to give him a nice death, but you're still bummed out because it's your pal Data's
But
dead.
he was already dead.
But yeah, that was
Right,
that was-
and that's
now Brent Spiner can be soon for another season.
Alton soon. Alton Inigo soon.
I mean, something.
My theory that I was hoping was because he seemed evil last episode that he was just going to be lore in disguise, pretending to be a real human, but that's not what happened. Because
right, it is buck wild that him too. Like he was on board, enthusiastically behind the genocide of all non-synthetic life, all biological life. He was like, yes, let's do it. And then he was like, oh, one of my synths committed murder. I'm not on board anymore. And everybody's like, we're friends.
Right. Part of me was happy that he's not just an evil fucking dick, But then the other part...
Me too, but again, it just wasn't, done well.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, that's the thing. It just is it's like we have to resolve this episode and this season in a way that wraps up a bow like a nice Star Wars where everybody's happy at the end of it.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I can't even remember Nemesis. Did they finally kill Lower enough that it was problematic to bring it back? Because they could still do that in a later season. Say, oh wait, you thought I was not. Turns out they could still do that in theory.
Well, this season of Picard is a lot like Nemesis in that it never mentions lore at all.
Yeah.
That was what was so dumb about they bring B4 and Nemesis in and they don't reference lore at all. I think he got decommissioned in the series at some point.
I think so. I don't remember for sure, but I think he probably was.
Especially now you got 20 years of history you can buff up and say anything happened. They could still do that next season or two,
Yeah, I was hoping the actual flesh and blood son of Dr. Sung was actually a robot disguise. Robots in disguise, but it's like, oh no, it's just a person that has existed that you never heard of. It's like, oh, okay.
I really thought you were going to be right.
That seems to be their MO. What do we do? I don't know. Let's just make up a thing that doesn't exist that you never heard of, and say it was the thing behind the entire thing forever.
Didn't he say he was the nephew or something?
No,
he's son.
He's the
He
son?
was the son of Dr. Sung that
was never mentioned before.
He never talked about.
except Data knew about
The
him.
redheaded stepchild.
Because Data refers to him as my brother, Alton. It's like, well, that's okay. It's a real Cybox situation.
Yeah.
Well, you know what?
boy.
If they actually got good writers next season or two and decided let's say the whole, and they could build that over a whole time. They keep that character around.
Yeah.
I'm just perfect fantasy writers.
Oh, he still could be lore eventually.
He still could be, but I don't trust him to actually get good writers, especially now.
That'd be so funny.
Even if it's not, you could do good things with him. You know, Brent Spiner's nice to have around, but it's like,
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the thing. Ultimately, this season set up potential for doing good things with all this shit that we just bitched about. As much like the idea that this thing that was referenced at the final episode of TNG where Picard has this brain thing, and we're just going to just pretend that doesn't happen. We don't have to worry about that anymore. at least now you can tell stories about like what it means to be synthetic. What does it mean that are you really Picard anymore because you just got a robot body and you're a copy of his brain in a new body? Data was a person, but how many was the copy of Data the same Data? Is it the same Picard? That shit's been mined in sci-fi writing a bunch, but you can still do that.
Didn't he already have this like existential shit by like being a Borg?
True.
Like
yeah, there's definitely that.
Yeah, we've already been down this road.
I guess
sort of.
I mean what I just thought about is like, to be fair, Star Trek has a long history of saying that's not the deal because transporters are a copy of a guy and they've never you die every time on a transporter. I'm sure you talked about that. It's the same thing with Picard now.
Wait, what?
Yeah. It's anytime you're on a transporter. I mean, sorry, I've read too
Sean, the notion is that
come on, yeah,
because
is this true?
No, this is Lane's pet theory.
Yes, there's been like graduate level doctoral thesis. This is in philosophy about the transporter.
Well, this is all cribbing off China medieval, which I did write a paper in law school that I got an A on about China medieval, but that
I think I'm gonna go.
Sean, so just to sum it up, real quick,
we're not
Sean.
even to status update report yet.
Yeah. So Sean, I was just gonna say the transporter thing is basically saying because you are torn apart atom by atom and reassembled, that you essentially die just like you would if you were vaporized. And so
right, I understand.
It's like the Prestige where like he walks in and someone else walks out.
Nah, I've never seen it.
Oh, great movie. Watch it.
Yeah.
They did just do it. My Hero Academia had an arc that was a villain that was sort of like that. He would disassemble himself and reassemble himself.
Sean?
So.
Well, great.
One could argue that he is he's constantly dying and then being reborn. So,
but
Recracking by China medieval, it covers it much better and it's funnier. But
sure.
I remember hearing about that in, like college philosophy class or something.
Yeah, see, I'm deep, man. Yeah,
I mean, that's what I thought about when they were like, oh, we transferred you to this android. And it's like, it's just an AI that thinks it's Picard.
Yeah, he died, and now he's a new one. So if they touched on those things, that could be interesting for another season. They won't. It won't be, but...
Right. Is he like a whole new life? Is he a new creation? Is he the same person? And I think you could do an interesting story of like, he has been like Data's advocate for so long that Data is like sentient. Data is, a living being, and that, all those, always kind of fell on that side of things. Is it the same when you refer to yourself? Like the first question he asked was like, am I real?
Right.
So, I think you could explore some interesting questions with it. Yeah. Like really go old school Star Trek and get philosophical.
Yeah.
And when the show is ready to get canceled, say, hey, you're 5 years old, dude, and now you're dead. And
there you go.
And get dark with it. I don't know.
Yeah, I'm into it. Yeah, kill that child. I think they should have Picarded. They should have Doctor Who'd Picard, and just have them put his like
regenerated him.
Yeah, put his consciousness into the body of like just somebody else.
Tom Hardy, right?
Yeah, Tom Hardy.
Yeah,
he's not busy. He makes like 8 movies a year.
Yeah, he'll do it probably. Yeah,
he will do it. I don't know when he has time.
He does everything, right?
Well, he's once Venom 2 wraps.
Yeah, and all this complaining, I will say that I did like the show well enough.
Oh, I liked it.
I liked it a ton more than Discovery.
It's so much
The
better.
problem with it is like, from what I gather from people, like, oh, that was fine. I will never watch that again. Like it's
right.
For the grand return of this everybody's space daddy from the 90s. It's like, oh well, that was a thing, wasn't it? Like
right. Well, none of this holds up to just like the legendary status of like any original Trek. It feels like nobody's gonna be obsessing over these things the way, and maybe they will. I don't know.
Some will. Like
Trek fans are lunatics, and I hate them. So maybe they are. But
I don't know that I'll be going back in 20 years to rewatch these the way I just did Next Generation.
Some people will because I don't know why, but like
because they're being born right now.
Groups I follow online, they're like, "Oh, I cried. That finale was wonderful. Oh, it was everything I wanted it to be." And I was like,
yeah.
Wow, Wow.
Okay, I wouldn't go that far, but I did like it.
Yeah, it feels like those are the people for whom this is a compulsion.
Yeah.
Like I don't
And that's the thing.
I don't think just like normal.
That's what I've wrestled with, like doing all these Star Trek podcasts and everything. Like,
Yeah.
again, it's like Star Trek isn't really that great, but the community is such a good thing for people. Like,
Yeah.
and it's
Fandom corner.
like, okay, I'm glad that these people have this, but this is not the best. Even this is passable but like, like
You shut your mouth.
I don't know. It's
I think what you said about liking it but not feeling compelled to watch it again is pretty on the nose.
right. I'm glad that people have this to go to, but like, don't. Yeah, I mean, I don't know.
It'd be better if they had better things to go to.
Right, exactly.
Hey.
But Akiva Goldsman is a master of keying into the low of people just to like things for some reason and get things made. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know why this episode more than any others felt more Akiva for me, but Akiva Goldsman has an 8-year-old's understanding of relationships. I think that's what I took in from this. Like, oh,
Well, that's true of all Star Trek.
right, but especially this one, it was like, okay, like, I don't know, man, just with the Seven of Nott and Raffi stuff and Girardi.
That's brutal.
Where did that come from?
Yeah,
That is just nowhere.
It's
Well,
like
I think
because they
it's-
wanted to throw a bone to the. I mean, it's all these SJWs ruining Star Trek. No, it's not the SJ. Like, social justice is great. Bring it on, but like, just tell good stories and don't patronize me. Don't don't throw me.
Let them be lesbians next season. Let's watch a
Yeah.
lesbian
but
romance
don't
I'm totally
develop.
fine with
Yeah.
them having a relationship. I was like, did I miss that?
Right?
Well, it's like they can't decide what they want to do with her. Like, we'll make her the damaged junkie. Let's make her the damaged. No, she's the mom. She's everybody's mom. No, that's not quite working. She's the lesbian. Wait, no.
I was like, oh, Seven's damaged and broken too.
Yeah.
Oh, well, it's like that.
It's like-
but just like the sheer fucking hubris of this show.
That one really stuck with
To just throw this at me and think that I'm going to be excited that they threw in a lesbian couple.
Brutal. Embarrassing.
Come on.
Well, it's the same kind of cynicism that I think led to the blink and you miss it lesbian kiss in Rise of
that's what I was
Skywalker.
saying,
It's
yeah.
just like easily censorable,
Big Star Wars energy in this one.
and it's
Oh yeah, so easy to remove that.
yeah, and it's just it feels very patronizing. It's like, oh look, here we did it, fine, leave us alone now. It's like, no, you actually have to do more, like you said, like show something developing here, like actually treat this with some respect and not just as a box you have to tick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. What else happened this episode? I don't really. Does it matter? They called Romulans.
They blew up all the flowers.
Yeah, they call them snakeheads. Is that a slur that we haven't
Yeah,
heard?
is that a slur?
That was I thought it was a fine line.
Pretty all right slur. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, they can call that guy anything they want.
Yeah, it's like
as far as slurs go, A+ slur Star Trek.
snakehead. That works.
Into it.
If he had been, I want you to just go ahead and cry about it. That'd have been nice. So just because he cries a lot.
God, he cries so much.
He says,
Everybody does because they're so fucking sad. This whole show.
This is the saddest show I've seen in a long time.
Here's what I want for season 2, though. I want next season Space Captain with all the holograms.
Rios.
I want to learn that he also had a father that died by I want six-fingered man. Because I want to, he's Space Inigo Montoya. That's what we
yeah.
need. Every season should have a new person he's trying to like come to grips with dying.
I will remind everyone that Alton Soong's middle name is literally Inigo. So
Right.
Yeah.
I want him Space Inigo Montoya.
hey, Rios is probably my favorite of the new characters on the show. Like, I feel like
I like him.
they're given a lot to do. And the actors.
Now, Team Eleanor for life, baby.
Shut the fuck up.
Eleanor all day.
Sean,
Eleanor had me every now and then. Like I was like, fuck this guy. He cracked wise a few times. Like, oh, he's good comic relief. And then I doubled back to, you know what? Fuck this character. He doesn't do anything. And he sucks.
Well, right. Well, no, he was good in that one episode where he was like a fucking funny idiot.
Right.
And then he did not do that anymore.
In my head, he's still a hilarious idiot off screen, like when he was taking a shit and Hugh died. That was
Right.
great.
Right. Sure. What a weird, like, character trait to then just be like, we changed our mind. That's not his
I
thing.
just want him to always show up late in somebody's day. Like, oh man.
Yeah.
It's
That
a
would be
great
great.
direction they should take the character in. It's kind of a shame that they tried to play it straight for the last few episodes.
They just every time he's
It's
just
all
stuck
weird.
in the bed. I'll be out in a minute.
He's Johnny.
Eleanor, what are you doing? He's an adolescent boy. He's like, oh, just give me 5 minutes. I'll be right out.
He's
Or
honestly,
get out of the shower.
honestly, he needs to be Johnny from Metal Gear Solid, the guy that's always like shitting himself off screen while.
I don't.
God, what? Just like the worst character. Dear God. But yeah.
But see, wouldn't that be so funny if Eleanor was that?
Yeah. I thought they were setting up him in 7, and I was like,
Well,
yeah.
they
glad
set up
we
like a
learned
maternal
that.
relationship there, where he was like,
Right.
"Well, but I'd miss you." It's like, all right,
Oh shit!
that's
So
gross.
7 gets to be his mommy, and then Rappy
Right.
gets to be everybody else's mommy. And it's like, jeez, come on, just let him. I don't know, let him bone and get a relationship that way. That's what I want.
Yeah. Allison Pill's the only one who gets to bone and not be someone's mom.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Well, no, actually, that's not true. She's the mother to an entire species. of
That's right.
sentients.
Yeah.
Right, sure, that's true. God, every woman is a mom.
They're all moms.
Guys, I think we've cracked it, guys. There's a real.
We cracked.
She's
we
the
cracked
biggest
something.
mom of all.
Right?
The mommiest mom.
Well, that's what, Picard is our space daddy, and now we need space mommies.
And we got plenty of them.
Yeah.
Well,
Your whole poly space mommy family.
polycule.
Mommy Kuhl.
All right, Glenn, do fucking status report.
Oh, what's that?
Your favorite segment, Courtney?
Nobody fucking wants this. Just do it. I can go to bed.
I told him you hated it.
That's fine. That's
You didn't have to do that.
I hate it so loudly, so you're good.
we're happy to have you on.
Yeah.
Well, so for this final status report of the season, I wanted to do something special. So real quick, my current percentage of the Star Trek canon is 33.45.
Fascinating.
I'm 97 episodes into TNG, just a couple episodes short of finishing season 4.
Well, you failed. You failed. You had one
Shaking her
job.
head over here, man. She hates
You got fucking quarantined and you still couldn't do it.
Well,
Sorry, keep going.
look, Animal.
It's a bit like, listening to someone catalog all they had to drink the night before.
I drank 7 beers. I had 2 shots. Oh wait, no, I had 5 shots actually.
If only I were that cool.
I think it was that last whiskey ginger that put me over.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
But so the special thing I want to do for this finale is I went through every episode this season so far, and I know that the primary complaint from some people has been that the segment takes too long.
Sure does.
And so what I did is I measured exactly how long each status report segment is, and if someone hadn't asked me to edit the song for them, I would have had an additional feature ready for rollout.
Oh
You
man,
can do this song whenever. We don't need the song.
No.
Sean.
thank goodness you asked him. He's saying if you
Yeah,
didn't-
I know. Yeah, you're right. It would have been even longer. So, yeah, you're right.
Well, so what I have right now is I have the current percentage of each episode taken up by status report, and basically the average runtime for status report is 6.5 minutes. And what I was working on before doing Sean a favor was seeing how much of that time was actually
Doing the podcast a favor.
how much of that is actually me talking, and how much is it someone else talking.
Yeah, how much is us
Exactly.
interrupting you?
I'm
Is
telling
that
you,
what?
she hates it.
So
Yeah.
so for
How much of it is us
Yeah, you
interrupting?
motherfucker.
so I,
How much, Glenn? Tell us how much it is
I'm
already.
about to. So I don't
All
have
right,
the
spit it
full-
out.
Well,
Glenn, hurry the fuck
I don't
up.
have.
so
I don't.
mad right now.
I don't have the averages because I didn't finish. But I can tell you for like episode 2, which was the first status report, the entire segment lasted 6 minutes 29 seconds. I spoke for
Felt like
3
an
minutes,
eternity.
3.5 minutes, and you guys spoke for 3 minutes. So 3 minutes of that 6.5 minute runtime is you motherfuckers. So I just want you to know there's at least one precedent of almost half of status reports runtime being taken up by you two. And I was so excited.
This is 6 minutes we're not getting back.
There are there are 2 episodes where I agreed to keep my mouth shut. Those are gonna bust your average straight to hell.
Well, I'm gonna keep reporting on this after this episode's over, of course.
This sucks.
Because the point being is...
the people need to know.
Glenn, have you talked to a doctor about this?
No, not yet.
Glenn, this concerns me.
Well...
I'm worried about you.
Spreadsheet compulsion.
Just the complaint was that it was taking too much time, and I have hard data here establishing that you guys made that problem worse.
Hard data. That's a slash fic that.
Yeah, there you go. That's
I wrote last night.
So I guess really, if I have any ending thoughts for a status report this season, it's Sean eat my asshole specifically.
Yeah, nope, totally fair. I deserve that. I own that. That's on me.
Yeah, that's right. But I like Star Trek a lot. I'm gonna keep watching it, and
What was the last?
about it.
What was the last episode you watched? Maybe you had some topical things about other than numbers here.
Hey. So the last one I watched was The Host, which was the Trill introduction.
Oh.
Which that was a good episode. I like that one. Trying to think of what's the most recent one that would have been like strictly relevant to Picard. Data's Day was kind of recent. That was just more just.
It's not what I asked.
Well, all right, fine. The most recent one I watched was The Host.
All right.
Answer the fucking question,
I
Glenn.
did.
God damn it.
Now you can watch DS9 and see how different trolls are, but whatever. It's not relevant to this show.
I have an update.
Oh.
I watched iBorg.
Oh. With you?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, with you. And I gotta say, I was surprised by a few things. First, that it was an hour and 55 minutes long, and second, that Will Smith was in it.
Oh, damn it. Sean, you fucking asshole.
I don't know where that fits into the Star Trek canon. I didn't recognize any characters from Star Trek. The robots didn't look like Star Trek robots.
Sean, God.
Will Smith didn't look like he belonged. It really didn't feel Trekky at all, so... I don't know why that's such an important landmark episode.
That's it.
We don't.
I'm kicking you off the podcast. You're done. You're out of here. Get the fuck off my podcast, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, I deserve that.
I know that's it.
Yeah, you do.
I like Star Trek.
Okay.
This was good. This was a good show.
Are we still? We're still technically in status report.
Oh, close the status report, Glenn.
They yell at me even when I'm not talking.
Well, I wanted to keep it open because I watched a classic episode of Star Trek.
Shut up.
The whistle's been blown, motherfucker.
Can I tell you, I did watch iRobot.
Oh, okay.
Really?
For this bit that went nowhere.
The James Cromwell Shia LaBeouf vehicle.
I don't know what you're
That's
talking
the joke. They're in that movie. That's the joke. It's a Will Smith movie. I know.
I was like, Babe was a robot. Wait.
Well, Babe the pig was a robot. Yeah,
That
Cromwell
was
was
Shia
actually the
LaBeouf?
only
What?
person.
Take
good,
two. I should have said an Alan Tudyk vehicle because Alan Tudyk is the problem.
So, like,
It's all the same to me. I didn't watch
Babe?
the movie, so I don't know what you're talking about.
That's a piece of shit movie.
Well, yeah.
All right, well,
wait, iRobot? Oh no, iRobot's good. That's a good movie.
That pig was great.
That pig was great.
Final thoughts about
iRobot?
this
I don't like it.
this whole mess.
Well, no, I don't go. Sorry.
Let our lovely guests go first.
Yes. Sorry.
I'm pretty positive on. I mean, even though I've been bitching this whole time, I'm actually really positive on this episode. I've been positive on the season. I mean, most of my problems with it are more technical. Like, I don't like the way shots are set up and that sort of thing. But story-wise, I'm good. Like, I like the characters. I like spending time with them. You know?
We should just actually do that instead.
I'd like to spend more time with
Yeah,
the characters
exactly.
instead of
Right.
Yeah.
And, I mean, there's definitely some big problems,
like the plot.
Yeah, or when a character just disappears and Hugh and all the other ex-Borgs die or
Right,
whatever.
yeah.
I'm telling you, he just had to take a shit. Sometimes it's not.
That's
like
better than what I said he was doing.
It's the best explanation, man.
yeah, it's like he's jacking off in the car.
Johnny
or
from
something.
Metal Gear Solid.
You know, at the very end, they're like, "Oh, the synthetic ban has been lifted," and it's like, "Well, that was quick."
Yeah.
Yeah,
They made that decision so fast.
Well, you know, to be
They were
fair,
making that on the way back to the.
Yeah.
I believe that was Miss O that made that decision. So she was out of there, and they're like, "Oh wait, never mind. She's a Romulan." So
Oh, she's the one who pushed that through, and they're like, "Ah, fuck, we got hoodwinked."
You know,
so-
I really hope there's a short trek that explains how she goes from being security head to sneak off back to Romulan. No, I mean, short treks, everybody.
Well, it does seem like maybe there should be a conversation about how presumably her actions, which led to the near genocide of the Romulan species,
right.
were for basically nothing.
Yeah, it's weird.
Right.
Oh, here's I got a last new bit of news here. Brent Spiner says he's done playing Data after Picard season 1. Well, no shit.
But is he done playing
But
Union?
I'm not done reading the headline. But
He's not fucking done.
but is up to reprise Alton. All right.
That's so
Well,
funny.
Data's dead. Of course. He's
Yeah,
not
of course.
Right,
like,
of course he is. What
and
is
he's old and
stupid-
fat now. He can't play
He
Data
doesn't
anymore.
look like Data
He was
anymore.
pushing it on that one Data scene. They did as many tucks, and there was some tape involved.
Yeah.
You know, but you know he's done.
Fat Data is jarring,
Yeah, but
and I feel bad. That's just a man.
yeah.
I feel that's.
Yeah.
But but that is Fat Data, and it's
man.
odd to see.
But yeah, in theory, they can do a good season. They got some. They have just clean up this mess. Ignore the. I mean, let's try and make it less Mass Effect. And you got a whole you have a whole new species. I mean, the idea that they're ending the show with like, okay, we had Data. Now you got an entire planet of Datas, and Picard's one of them. You could tell decent plots with that.
right.
Picard's a Data.
Yeah.
Is that like calling a vampire a Dracula?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. But it's just this thing that they do. They make everything bigger, and it is such a Star Wars thing, you know.
Yeah.
Starkiller Base can destroy 5 planets.
Right.
You had one Data, now you have all the Datas. It's like, well, why can't anything just still be small?
Yeah.
Right. It's no longer like Planet of the Week. It's like everything's
Right.
a universe.
Right.
I'd love to watch this crew do just a fucking like Planet of the Week
Yeah. Oh,
series
totally.
next
I would-
season.
I would be down for that.
I think the way that things are going, the response to this show has been like, well, everybody, I think it's similar to our takes here. Some people are nicer, some are meaner, but everybody's like, well, it's better than Disco. And,
Right. Again, does not take much,
But then everybody, I mean, and there's rumors about Kurtzman being on the outs with CBS. Who knows what that's about. But I think there is definitely going to be retooling because they were retooling this at halfway through the season, honestly. I think that's partly this episode was bringing Akiva to retool to set up for season 2, you know, like where they just
Right.
make everything simple and basic. But
Right.
But-
I don't need a mystery box for like every show, every season.
yeah, right. So, but who knows? And
Well,
you know,
here-
I
What
didn't watch
video
any-
games are they playing now?
Yeah, right.
Did anyone know
I've
the
been
next
playing
season?
a lot of Doom
Yeah.
Eternal, so hopefully it's just a bunch of chainsaw.
right, the next one's just about Eleanor slaughtering people.
Right.
I think it'd be
I'd be
funny if
down
it was
for that,
Animal
too.
Crossing. They're just all in debt to Tom Nook.
Right, yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, you guys want to see what Eleanor's name looks like in Elvish script?
End this fucking podcast.
This is perfect
no.
for podcasting. Yes, a visual.
Yeah.
No,
right now.
I mean you on.
Oh, I know,
right
but-
now.
Right again, Clint. There's an
You know
audience.
what? I can't Picardly wait for all of this to be over.
Yeah. Narek and his sister in the Borg cube. They still clearly want a bone. Girardi rips the dead chick's eye out like Wesley Snipes in Demolition Man. Narek gets the crew to help him. Eleanor's not pleased. Picard's gonna do the impossible. Stop the Romulans from breaking through. Picard maneuver, make it look like there's a lot of ships. Works, I guess, until it doesn't, then they're fucked. 7 kills that lady. I don't recall her name. Riker shows up with Starfleet. Soji close is the portal. Everything works out, I guess. Can't pick hardly wait. I can't wait. Picardly wait. I can't wait. Picard died. I can't wait. Talk to Data. I can't hardly wait. Whatever. Then he's alive again. He's a synth now. Picardly wait. Yeah. Happy ending. Everything worked out, and this show was good. I liked it.
And so now we're actually going to look into how to write out Elnor's name in Elvish letters, also known as Tangwar. The vowels are called Tatar. And so first thing we need to do is we need to find the Tangwar character.
Shut the fuck up, Glenn.
All right.
Oh, but
well, you see, this is the Tangwar.
all right. Does anybody have any?
Fuck up,
any?
Glenn!
I think I asked for final thoughts. Anybody? Plugs? Anything they want?
Star Trek's good. Oh, no.
Lane, Courtney.
I think I just did.
Yeah.
I gave my.
Sorry.
No, do you have it plugged?
All right,
You
well-
don't wanna
Plugs,
plug
no.
anything?
All right. Well, then it's over till the next season of Camp Picardly Wait, if that happens. And
Go watch iRobot. It's fine.
I guess the next Star
good
Trek
movie.
to come out is Discovery Season 3, which I think
I'll
you let me
watch it.
know.
I think I said at the end of Disco Season 2 was it was not great. So to get me back, I will watch when they release the first episode for free, which they always do on YouTube. Like, I will watch that, and if it sells me, I may come back to do the podcast again. If not, like, I've been struggling with my relationship. I might just have to let go and let Star Trek be Star Trek without me if it sucks.
Can I host?
fucking
Can I host if you
You do whatever you want. You can have.
I'm not coming.
I'll just talk by myself.
It'll be
I'm not going
status
on that
report
journey.
all the way
Yeah,
through.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh God, this is hell.
Just one dumbass motherfucker talking about Star Trek.
Yeah, it's never been done before on the
In a sea of dumbass motherfuckers. Yeah.
podcasting medium.
Yeah.
Like I said, because we are the one of two Picard. Yeah, right.
Yeah, there's only 2, and the other one's got some real problematic shit going on, I've
Oh,
heard.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
Does it really? I thought Benny was
no,
joking.
that's I'm referencing the joke.
Oh, well, pardon me.
Benny was on the pod.
Pardon me for trusting your
I heard
word.
he died.
You shouldn't. I'm a known joke.
dead.
In the canon of Camp Picardly Wait, Benny
Benny died.
This is dark, man.
Yeah.
It's too soon.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah.
this has been a fun,
Benny went the way of Data.
very structured round table.
This is Red Table Talk,
Right.
right? You're Jada Pinkett Smith.
Oh,
That's
is that
what's going on
yeah,
here.
Okay.
Yeah, it is. She has like a Facebook Live show or something. It's very odd.
I guess we're done.
That's a weird reference. Okay, yeah, we're done.
All right. Well,
I'm gonna stop.
thanks for coming
it was
on.
fun.
Yeah.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Of course.
Yeah. Wait, let me be a downer again on your.
Yeah. Well, we needed it.
I actually was like gonna talk. I was trying to prepare all this positive stuff to say, and like, oh, you guys hate it too. Never mind.
We've been pretty positive. Like, yeah, but we've been more positive than a lot, but not without. Yeah, like I want to be able to recognize what works, and then
What
I
doesn't.
be as subjective about it as I can be. It's hard to be though.